Hello, friends. Today I speak with Central Valley filmmaker Ernest Serrano. He is a director, producer, and actor, and he's also the CEO of Serrano Studios. Today we talk about COVID-19 and its impact on the film set. Hope you enjoy. Hi, Ernest. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey Matt, how's it going?
Good. How's your whole quarantine vacation going?
Oh, it's been great. I don't have any issues with it. It is what it is. So
Yeah, just day by day and just be kind to people as much as we can, huh?
that's about it. That's about it. Take care of your family, and just make sure, you're using common sense.
Absolutely. Well, jumping right into the topic, I got to be honest, I know nothing about the new rules and regulations on what goes into the whole film, and being on the film set and all of these things, but it has changed drastically. I know that much. And so, yeah, I wanted to really kind of I know you know a lot more about this um, particular topic than I do. And so, yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on everything going on.
Well, it's it's kind of nobody really knows everything that's going on right now because the way things have been going, there's so much uncertainty. Everybody wants to have a say in how they're going to want to start filming again. And so until somebody steps forward and actually lays down the rules, everyone's going to still keep running around, kind of figuring things out for themselves. LA and the big studios and everything, they have their game plan. You
Hmm.
know, they're a lot different than what we're going to be doing. We are the independents. We are the below micro budget type filmmakers out here,
Hmm.
and we can't we can't do the same things that they're going to be doing. They've got the money to be able to uh, set the rules that they can enforce. Now, for
Hmm.
us out here, um, we have to kind of play it a little bit different. We can kind of use the same rules, but we have to tailor the rules to suit our budget and to suit our area and things like that. For instance, um, a studio wants to start production. Let's just go ahead and say Tyler Perry's studio. Okay,
Hmm.
they're jumping in. They're going to get started. So they put out a set of rules.
Yeah,
It actually got leaked.
I see.
Uh,
It's like an 11-page PDF. Yeah.
yes,
Hmm.
and in that, they have the ability to what do you call it? Sequester people. Quarantine them.
Hmm.
They can say, like, in his pamphlets and his stuff like that, he says, okay, we have a star and we want to bring him to our set, so we're going to send him a private plane. you know he's
Hmm.
going to be tested prior to getting on that plane, he or she. When they're on the plane, the people that are on the plane are going to be in PPE. They're going to be protected and everything like that.
Hmm.
Then when he gets off the plane, he'll be checked again. The drivers of the vehicle that are going to take him to his hotel room, which is basically on the studio lot, um, they have to be tested. So they get them there. And then everybody that's going to be on that set will be tested. All the results have to come back. Everybody has to be negative before they're allowed to get started. Now, do you know how much money goes into that?
I'm sure a lot.
So imagine someone like Serrano Studios or you or any of these guys out here. We can't do that. We
Yeah.
have to use basic common sense.
Hmm.
And even with that, it may not be enough. So we have to really, really, really think, like, do we really want to get started right now? Do we really need to get started right now?
Well,
And
I
that's
even
the
saw
thing.
your post. Yeah, your post about insurance companies not, taking any clients right now or any films on board just because of this.
Yeah, production companies, the smaller ones, like I said, like us and things like that, we're not getting policies. They're not issuing policies because they know that we cannot protect our cast and our crew the way these larger studios can. So it's going to be hard for us to get it. And then talking to a friend out of LA, she says that even LA is not doing anything right now. They're not doing anything because the guidelines haven't been set in stone. And until the insurance companies are willing to put up the policies to cover these things, the studios can't do anything. Nobody can really do anything. So if you do something, you're doing it on your own. And that's where the liability falls directly in the hands of the person who's creating the production. So you can have, like, just like I know, we talk to our friends to come and help out on set. We talk to family members. We try to get as many people as possible to help us out to keep our costs down. Now, if one of them gets sick, doesn't matter if they're your friend, your close friend, a family member, somebody's going to have to pay for that medical bill. And who's that fall on? It's going to fall on you. And as much as a lot of people are saying, well, they're willing to come on set, they're willing to do this on their own, they're willing to sign a waiver, it's not going to matter. This is serious enough that people will, they'll stab you in the back if they have to.
They'll try it,
Yeah.
sure. And I asked my cinematographer Adrian about that topic exactly, and he said, even if there was a lawsuit about that, how could you prove that it was on the set that you got it?
And
so
the thing is, it's not about proving it, it's about having to go through it.
True.
You see what I mean?
And the money associated with that alone.
Exactly. So even if you know for a fact that you kept your set as clean as possible and kept social distance and did everything possible, if someone gets sick after you're filming or during your filming, it's all about association. So you have to really, really think, is my project that important that I need to get it out right now? Or are you willing to wait, a little bit longer until guidelines are set, insurance companies are ready to go? I've kind of already figured that 2020 is done. You see, I'm not looking to start anything until January, and I've got a few projects lined up ready to go. I'm just going to wait. I don't think there's a need for me to rush. So that's what we have to look at.
That's true, and I'm looking at the new guideline that Georgia released for Tyler Perry, and it says even for craft services, just pre-packaged portions. So even just down to the littlest details of craft services and hair and makeup, everything is changing.
Everything is going to change. It's not going to be the same for a while until they come up with a vaccine or something that can either curb it, stop it, or whatever it may be. When they start saying we haven't had a case in 5 months and we haven't had any, then you're starting to know, okay, it's getting safe now. So that's when, a lot of these, production companies and things like that are really going to start getting going. Because when you look at it right now, if you try to film right now, you can't have contact. There can't be no contact. There can't be no kissing scenes. There can't be no, groups of extras, in the background, all huddled together. You can't have that.
It's all CGI.
Exactly. So you have to film. If you're going to film right now, you have to film in a way where, like, for instance, 20th Century said they're going to do the old style, filming one person and then filming the other person in a different room and then splicing the film together. The split screen type stuff. Because it's safe. It's safe for now. That means they can actually start filming if that's what they put down that they're going to do. They could start filming. So, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to change. But for now, like I said, it's very, very hard to figure out where to go. The way I see it is, if I wanted to film, I would have to come up with something that is going to prevent people from being close together. I'd have to come up with something that's not going to require a lot of people, a small crew. If you contact these facilities that do the airline foods and stuff like
Hmm.
that, they are actually working out deals with film companies
Wow,
to take care of their craft services because they're prepackaged stuff, and they're not doing anything right now because the airlines are all shutting down and they're not doing much. So these
that's pretty
people who are
brilliant.
doing that, that service, they need the money. So they're
And
willing
we
to
need
work
that.
out with
So,
you to get that going. So there's a few places in Fresno right now that actually package the food. There's a couple of big ones, but there's a few out there that if you contact them and say, hey, you know what, I've got 50 people and we're filming on this such and such date, you could probably get food fairly cheap.
wow. Yeah, that's actually a pretty brilliant idea. And this is, in a way, providing more jobs because even for like the hair and makeup, every actor needs to have their individual hair and makeup artist now,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. And there cannot be any cross contamination of makeup, hair products, any of that stuff. Wardrobe, each individual wardrobe has to be kept separate. All your stuff has to be kept by itself and everything. Even the person, if you have a wardrobe person, that person can't go from one person to another person to another person without risking contamination. So
Hmm.
everything changes. And that's why I'm saying a lot of the studios, they have the ability to do this because they have the money to do this. Now, I'm not
Hmm.
saying that we can't. I'm just saying that we just don't have the ability right now without putting out the money.
It's monumentally more difficult. I mean, it's lucky enough to get one hair and makeup artist in one to volunteer, at times. So,
That is true. That is true. And there are a lot
yeah.
of talented people out here in the Central Valley. I know quite a few makeup artists and hairstylists that are out here, and they're even asking the questions, how? How are we going to
Hmm.
do this? They're used to working on multiple people in a fast situation, two people, three people in the same room in a chair, and trying to get all this done as fast as possible. Now it can't be, it can't be that way, which means if I decide I'm going to act in something, um, I have to contact a makeup artist that's going to be just with me, and I have to make sure that person has been quarantined and is negative. And the worst part about that is we still don't have any testing available for us. You
Hmm.
know, I can't be like, hey, I'm Ernest Serrano with Serrano Studios. I want to film. I need to get a test. They're going to be like,
Hmm.
nope, we don't have any tests for you. There's no place around
Yeah.
here to get one. So right now they're still focused on the people who are sick.
Uh-huh. Instead of the preventing. Um, and it's, yeah, I mean, even down to the camera department, and even for camera operator and first AC, they are literally together,
Yeah.
and it's like, how is this going to? Well, I mean, sure, they could use a wireless
Yeah, they can
dolly focus or
they can
whatever,
do
but
focus
still.
pull. They can do a couple different things, but the lenses have to be changed out, which means your
Hmm.
cinematographer would have to do his own lenses and everything like that. He would have to attach um, the the unit to the lens for the focus pull because you can't have the person touching the camera. So
Hmm.
there's a multitude of different things that are going to change the way we function on a set. And can it be done? Yes, it can be done. I mean, you can have one camera guy who handles everything that has to do with the camera. It's going to take a little longer to get things set up, but you can
Hmm.
have one person do it. You can have one gaffer who handles all of his stuff by himself. Nobody else is touching anything. Everybody can have their own tools. Nobody shares tools for anything. You know, um,
Hmm.
those are the things that can be done. And again, it just brings back to the my original thing is, should it be done right now? We're
Hmm.
in May, okay? Since this started, what, in February? You know,
About late
yeah,
February, yeah.
late February, beginning March, right? March, April, May.
Hmm.
Okay, so 3 months. It hasn't been long. It hasn't been long. So if it
Hmm.
takes 3 months for everyone to go bonkers because they can't get out and film right now, there's a problem. So my thing
Yeah.
is your project that important that you need to get it out right now? Or can you wait? Can you wait a little bit longer and make sure that when you do get out there to do these things, that everyone's a little bit safer? So you have to make that
Hmm.
determination yourself.
Because I'm sure these guidelines aren't permanent. I'm sure there's eventually an expiration date for these
I,
guidelines. At
I
least I,
think
I
so.
hope
I
so.
think so. For now, they're going to be the standards for now until, like I said, they come out with a vaccination or something that, like, you take this, it'll prevent you from getting COVID-19. Now, with that, boom, we're back to business. We're back to business.
Hmm.
You can go and get your productions going. You can have your people kissing and all that, whatever. You can do whatever you want at that point. But until
Hmm.
then, as long as we're only doing social distancing and mask and things like that, everyone will be at risk of getting something. Now, it doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. I don't care about that. I don't
Hmm.
care about the politics of all of that. That means nothing to me. To me, the safety of my crew, the safety of my cast, that's the most important
Hmm.
thing to me because my wife is my script supervisor. And
Hmm.
I'll be damned if I bring her in a situation where, she can get sick, or she can at
Yeah.
least get something and bring it back home to my mother-in-law who, lives with us and everything, who is, 70 years
Hmm.
old. So you see, so there's a lot of things that they have to look at. But me personally, like I said, I've already decided that 2020 is pretty much done. And,
Yeah.
my projects I'm gearing for now are all towards 2021.
Yeah, I agree. I said this a few podcasts ago in the when it was kind of picking up the COVID-19, and I just assumed the whole rest of this year is completely done for films. I mean, even for the
Yeah.
theaters, I think everyone is going to be experiencing a bit of PTSD, about this, and it'll slowly build back to where it used to
Yeah.
be, at least for packed areas like that. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll
Well,
see.
hopefully things will get better. Hopefully people will understand how serious this is and do the protection and do the social distancing and do the things that will help keep this down. But until then, we have to assume that, anybody can get it, anybody, can pass it. So until we have some other reassurances on something, we just have to be careful. And you can't tell artists because we are all artists. You, me,
Hmm.
whether we're directing, whether we're acting, whatever we're doing, we're all artists and we want to create.
Hmm.
And when you
Yeah.
when you take an artist and you confine them, and prevent them from being able to do the things they want to do, it's nerve wracking.
Yeah.
You know
It's very unfortunate. Yeah. I mean, like what you said, you have to tailor your stories around to what we're able to do now.
exactly,
You know.
exactly. And that's
Um,
and when
yeah.
when you're a writer and have a certain style that you do in a certain genre that you like or whatever it is that you do, to tell your own brain you can't do that anymore. You need to think of this and only work around this. Yeah, that's devastating to creativity. People don't like that.
Yeah. It is, but it could also be a strength too if you can,
It
navigate
could.
through it
It could.
for
Like
sure. Yeah.
I shot two little pieces in my house called Addiction and Addiction Part 2, just for YouTube. Just because I got so bored, I said, you know what? I just want to film something. So I did it myself. I was in it myself. I did the camera. I did everything, the audio, the whole thing myself, only to see, can I do that? And yeah,
Hmm.
I was able to do it, and I put it on YouTube, and I was like, okay, cool. I was able to get some expression out, and that's fine. But for now, all I'm doing is
Absolutely.
focusing on writing. I'm taking an animation class to learn animation.
Nice.
I'm keeping myself occupied, so that way when the time starts to come up, I'm ready. My mind is fresh. I've been working on things. I haven't left the industry, or I haven't left, what I love to do.
Yeah.
I just been doing it in small bits and
Absolutely.
pieces, and that's what keeps me going.
Hmm. That's the best thing to do, honestly. Yeah, just keeping the momentum going and
Yeah, I mean, you have
keeping
to.
busy.
You have to. Again,
Hmm.
we're artists, and as long
Hmm.
as we love to create, then we're going to have to find ways of creating, but in a safe environment. And I give anybody
Hmm.
who's getting ready to film right now, and those people who are, you know, filming already, all I can tell them is, be safe, and, please uh, try to be as, think about your cast, think about your crew, their safety and everything like that. Try your best, because what you're telling people is my creativity, my dreams, and my story. Exactly.
Outweighs your, yeah,
Exactly.
safety.
And that's
Yeah,
not that's something that you don't want people to think, that, you're doing this for that, My every
absolutely.
time I do
Yeah.
something, I do it for the actors, and I do it for the crew, and I promote them, and and if I go out and I start doing something right now, that's completely the opposite of what I've always said. So, you just
Hmm.
have to wait. But there are rules. There are putting them out there.
Well, I know Netflix has gone back to, they
Yes,
are
they
filming,
are. They are filming.
and they're going by a card system,
Yes,
right? On
yes.
set.
But again, Netflix is they're quarantining their people. You see,
That's true too. Yeah.
they've taken over hotels. Matter of fact, I read an article that said something that um, Netflix had built, or actually had purchased, a couple of hotels, and
Wow.
in different states of where they film, and that's where they're keeping their people. They have their own drivers, they have their own, their transportation, all the stuff they have themselves, so they can put somebody. And when quarantine somebody, you sequester somebody, you're paying for their time. So imagine if you
Hmm.
if you hire Brad Pitt, and you're paying Brad Pitt money for Brad Pitt to sit in a hotel room for 14 days, earning his rate. That's a lot of money, you know.
That's
So,
insane.
but
Yeah.
that's what they're
Yeah.
doing. They're putting these people up. They're paying them their rate to keep them there. They test negative, and then they take them to the set. They keep them, quarantined on set until they need them for actual filming. I mean, they're doing a lot. But again, they have the money to do that. And
Hmm.
as long as they have the ability and the money to do it, that's why they're filming right now. That's why they've gotten stuff going again. And again, the Netflix, they have their own insurance company, you know, and so
Ah.
they can do that. They can cover their own
Hmm.
policies and everything. So these are things that, again, I'm talking about, like the Central Valley and stuff. Us who
Hmm.
are out here, we don't have that ability yet. We don't have it. And let's say if you want to film, and let's say you want to use, like Matt is telling Ernest Serrano, hey, I want to use you in my film. I want you to be the lead in the film. I'm going to say lead because I won't take anything else.
Hmm.
But anyway, I'm going to be the lead in your
Yeah.
film, but you want me to be quarantined for 14 days, not go anywhere, not do anything, just stay in my house for 14 days, but you're not going to pay me. See what I mean?
Oh, hell
That's
no. Yeah.
so, because, like, I still work, even though I'm retired as a deputy sheriff, I still work as a notary, and I still go out and I do things. So that means that's money
Hmm.
I can't make. You see, in order
Yeah.
to be in your project, you know, 14 days from now, or like 16 days from now. So it's going to be hard pressed to find someone who's going to want to do that. So you're going to have to put up the money to put somebody, away for 14 days. That's going to cut into some serious budget. You know,
Oh
I
yeah.
kind of I'm writing down rules myself right now. This is like Serrano Studios rules is basically what I'm doing.
Ooh,
And
let's hear
what
them.
I'm looking at, as especially for budget wise, let's talk about food. Okay. Let's say
Hmm.
I want to get a project going, and I'm going to pay my actors the ultra low budget rate from SAG, which is $100 a day. Okay. So I'm going
Hmm.
to tell somebody, okay, I'm going to pay you $100 a day. All right. Now, in order to cover food, we can't do food the same way anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know what? Instead of paying you $100 a day, I'm going to pay you $125 a day. That 25 is for you to bring food to set. You can have your little cooler, you can do whatever. You buy your food, you bring it to set, you have your food. So now I don't have to worry about that actor's food. You see, you pay them a little bit extra because, like, for a per diem, depending on the rates and things like that, it goes from 25 to 35 a day as a per diem.
Mm-hmm.
So if I say, okay, I'm paying you the minimum, SAG ultra low, which is 100, um, then I'm going to pay you 25 for your food for the day. That means every day you come to set, if you're set to go there for 5 days, you're going to get $125 a day. Now, if you don't want to buy food with that $25 and you're going to just not eat anything, that's on you. That's on you. But
Mm-hmm.
at least I'm giving you the incentive to buy your food and bring it to set and have something to eat. So you can have your little snacks, you can have your sandwich or whatever it is that you want, your tofu or I don't know, whatever you decide you want to eat, you can have that with you on set.
Mm-hmm.
That way, when lunchtime comes and you
Mm-hmm.
break, everybody goes to their respective corners, they eat their food and everything like that, and we're good to go. So that's one of the things that I'm looking at doing. Now, does it
Okay.
bump up the budget for actors, the pay for actors? Yeah, it's going to bump that up a little bit. But when you look at a situation like, for instance, Confessions, for the weekend, I spent something like $600. Yeah, about $600 for the weekend of food. That's craft
Mm-hmm.
services. That's the snacks, the whole thing. From breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the
Yeah, all
water,
the
all that
water,
stuff. I spent
everything.
about $600. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at paying each actor, let's say on that set I had only two actors on that set, Michael and Alicia. Okay, now if I paid them 125 a day and they're there for the 2 days, you know, then you're looking at $50 for each person. That's $100 spent on food just for them. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
the cast and crew or the crew and everything, you can work out kind of the same thing with them and everything. It's going to end up being less in food because if you have just a cinematographer, a gaffer, one PA, the AD, that's four people right there. So it's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
lot less money, to do it that way. So I kind of feel that I can save money in the budget by doing that, that way, paying the actors a little bit more money so that way they have the food and everything. And that way they can eat. Other than that, like I said before, the contacting these airline companies that do the food and getting prepackaged food,
Mm-hmm.
but
Which is a
so
great
yeah, so I
idea.
mean, there's
Yeah.
there's a couple different ways you can go about doing it and everything, but that's one of the things. For me, also is I have like 5 or 6 10 by 10 tents, those canopy things. You can
Mm-hmm.
actually set those up because it's 10 feet square. So you can set them up, next to each other and everything like that. And you have social distancing space for each person. So each person can have their own little,
Smart.
space to put their ward, and you close it off so they can do wardrobe in there. They can do their own makeup in there. They can have lunch there. They can do whatever. So these are things that I've been
Nice.
kind of thinking about. How am I going to come back and what do I have that I can come in and be able to do these things and not spend that much money. So those are a couple different
Mm-hmm.
things. Other than that, supplying the masks, supplying, all the hand sand and things like that. These are things that, yeah, we're going to have to supply those things for these people, and we have to show them that we care enough about them. And that's only
Yeah.
going to happen when they see what you're putting forward to get this done, you know? So those, that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of where I'm going right now, but there's a lot more that I have to consider in getting started. And that's the reason why I'm taking my time. So I'm not in a rush.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll see when production kicks up, uh, back up here
Yeah,
in
yeah.
LA. Because, you know, I know those regulations are for Georgia, so I don't know if there's going to be anything different
Well,
here, but
SAG has been
we shall see.
working with the different unions and things like that. All the different unions have been meeting and trying to figure out what's the best way to go. Because again, the hard part for the studios, they may have all the money to do whatever, but they still have unions that they have to deal with. You know, they still have Teamsters they
Hmm.
have to deal with. You know, and a lot of these, yeah, a lot of these
IATSE.
places are kind of like, no, we're not sending our people in until we have some kind of guarantee that they're going to be safe. So that's the reason why LA
Hmm.
is not doing anything right now, because no one has come up with a plan that will help everybody out. Everybody's kind of doing their own little individual thing right now, but you have to realize in order for a studio to get started, there are a number of entities that are involved in that, and each one of those are a separate unit, you know, and they have to come together in order to agree on something. That gives us, the independents, a little bit more flexibility, because we don't
Hmm.
necessarily have to deal with unions, but we still have to deal with insurance. We still have to deal with, the different crews that, I know a lot of different people that work on different crews. They just don't work in helping me, they help other people. So, these are things that we have to look at. Who are these people working with? Are they protecting themselves? So there's a lot.
Hmm.
There's so much uncertainty right now. It's very, very hard to say, yeah, we can go out there and film right now. It's no big deal. It's no problem. No, I don't think so.
Hmm. Yeah, but when it even comes specifically to the film set and how that is going to be run post COVID-19 and after all of this, so I know with Netflix they have the card system, and so you think you can explain more about how that
I'm
whole
still
system
trying to
works?
figure that out myself on their card system and everything like that. It's
I remember, I know they said um, like uh, producers and directors they have certain like an all pass card, you know, that they could go everywhere, and then actors have a specific card where they're somewhere. The camera crew they have a specific card
yeah,
for, you know, their specific area, and they're not allowed into the other
yeah.
areas. So
It's kind of like it's kind of like, I don't want to say like Game of Thrones. Each territory, you need permission to cross a
mm,
territory, and you're probably not going to get that permission because they know that they've been keeping themselves, clear of everything, and they've been, social distancing, and they've been keeping, uh, each one has their own. Matter of fact, each one of them, they have their own. I don't want to say medical facility, but they have their own doctor type thing or nurse, whatever, which is actually something that I plan to do. My aunt is a nurse, and so when I get started, I've
oh,
already told her, hey, look, I want you to come on set. I want you to be the one that's going to check temperatures, to keep track of people and see if anybody's been
oh,
sneezing or coughing or if they're showing any signs. So these are the things that, I'm looking on doing myself. Now, do I have to pay her? Yeah, I'm going to have to pay
hmm,
her to do it, of course. But those are the things that I'm looking at, because
hmm,
these are the things that, like, Netflix and Amazon and all these different companies that are trying to get going again. These are the things that they're doing, you know. But of course, they have a pretty big staff that's doing that and everything. So, we have to look at trying to emulate as much as possible what they're doing. And if that means, on our set, that the camera crew has to stay by themselves, that's what the walkie talkies are for. They have to be by themselves, and the
hmm,
gaffers have to be by themselves. And even if you have a best boy on set that's usually helping out the gaffers, they have to be separate. They can bring the extension cords and the wires and everything like that, but they have to set it up. They can't let the gaffers take over and set that up and everything. The gaffers are going to have to just be the ones that are going to have to work on adjusting the lighting itself. Cinematographer, you know, all his stuff has to be kept
hmm,
separate. Now, I'm lucky because, like I said, my wife is my script supervisor. So we can interact. We
hmm,
can be together, we can interact or whatever like that, because we live together. We know that we're good. But unless you can find
hmm.
boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, boyfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend group, you know, that, yeah, that's like,
Yeah, an entire
hey,
crew.
I got
Yeah.
this gaffer and he has this girlfriend, they both gaff together. Cool. There you go. And the same thing, like
There you
even for a
go.
PA, you can find
Yeah.
a PA that the boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever the relationship may be, but they're together and they live together and they're willing to PA together. Hey, perfect. So those are the things that we have to kind of expand to and look for. You know, so I know, like for myself,
Hmm.
like I said, I have my wife. I know, like Aaron Albright has his wife who helps him out on set and everything. Anna, she is an actress, but she's also a makeup artist. She also does special effects stuff and everything. So they work together. You see, so if you can have something like that,
Hmm.
that will help you out a lot more than you being by yourself, or a cinematographer being by himself, and first AD by themselves, whatever it may be. We're going to have to think outside the box in order to
Hmm.
try to get back to doing some filming and everything.
So I should ask too, how has the whole film scene in the Central Valley grown? Because even just in the last 10 years, I'm
That's
sure it
right.
has
You're
grown
you're in LA
substantially.
now, huh? Yeah, that's right.
I am.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you took
I
off from
live in
here.
Burbank now. I did. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I came to film school in 2016, and
yeah.
yeah,
I've
I'm
been
just
I've
here
been
now.
following
But
your stuff. I've been following
yeah,
your
it
stuff
was a
and
scare
everything,
though.
and what you've been doing, and keeping track of your film school stuff and everything.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, same with you. Yeah, your projects are on Amazon Prime, and before we end too, definitely tell everybody where they can see your films, where they could follow
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
and keep
I
up
think the
in
Central
touch.
Valley has grown. There's a lot of production companies out here now.
Hmm.
They're independents, but there's more, and you have to kind of try
Hmm.
to separate the ones that have a camera and choose an aim to the ones that have a crew, have people, have been out there doing things and everything. So if you're going to work with somebody out here in the Central Valley, you have to do your homework. Because again, there's good and there's bad in everything. I happen to know a lot of good
Yeah.
filmmakers out here, and I think a lot of them too and everything. Right now I'm working closely with Aaron Albright. He has the Silver Moon Pictures. That's his production company. George
Nice.
Ohan is still doing his thing
Yeah.
with Fulton Film Company. He's grown quite a bit and doing the stuff out here and everything. KP is still doing a lot of his stuff with Studio One, and
Yeah.
I think they have Mad. What is it? I don't want to say the wrong thing. So I know he has. I think he has another name that he's using too out there. But Matt Sconce is he had taken a break for a while, and now he's back.
Yeah.
Working on stuff and everything. Of course, his project got delayed because of all of this too. Um, but there are a lot of different
Yeah.
people out here. There are some new up and coming people. Dominic St. Clair has been out there trying to get things going. Um, and of course, you've got Michael Rodriguez, who's been doing all kinds of with MSR
Yeah.
productions and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of talented people out here. I just think that this whole situation has has hampered basically a lot of things that were progressing really, really well. And so now it's just going to be a matter of
Yeah.
getting back started again. I do know that my buddy Danny Salcida with Falcon Pictures is starting to film. They're going to start filming, and I think in
Oh,
June 2nd they're going to start filming.
great.
So I've spoken to him and I've told him just be very careful with what he's doing. I wish everybody all the luck in the world if they're going to go film right now. So, but yeah, he's got quite a few projects
Hmm.
going. He's even doing a project with George Lopez coming up soon. I think it's Faction of a Hitman or something like that. Yeah, so yeah, he's doing very well and
Nice.
everything, and so yeah, there's a lot of people doing things, and the Central Valley is not to be, you know, put down or anything like that. We have a lot of good people out here. I just think that there are a
Yeah.
lot of bad people that make the Central Valley look bad. And so when people start to see
Hmm.
product that are coming out of the Central Valley that's just not good, that's what they think the Central Valley is, and it's not. It's not. There's a lot of talented people out here. It's just
Hmm.
a matter of uh, marketing things the right way out here and letting people know. I mean, we have major studios coming out to the Central Valley to film. You know, I mean, there's been the Avengers came out here to film, Transformers came out here to film. You know, there's a lot of production companies that come out to the Central Valley because we're only 2.5 hours away. You know, well, to Fresno it's 3 hours or
Yeah.
3.5 hours. But anyway, you know, we're not far. So I mean, a lot of it, and the Central Valley
Hmm.
has multiple looks. It can look like a desert. It can look like the mountains. It can look like, you know, farmland. It can look like anything, really. If you go to the right locations, it looks like all kinds of areas. So, you know, it's prime for filming. And I really do hope that more companies come out here to film and everything because that's great work for a lot of the local crews. You know, it'd be fantastic for them to get some work out of
Yeah.
it and everything. But again, it still falls back to, you know, when we can get started and when we can get started safely.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Let's
really,
hope
I
that
really hope
happens
it
soon.
does, and
Um,
um, I think that there's going to be some break in this. There's going to be some way that you know they can get things going. Someone's going to come up with a plan that's logistically possible for everybody to do. You know, because at some point everyone's going
hmm.
to have to give in to something in order to get filming going again. They can't hold out forever. You know, the unions for the gaffers, the transportation, for the directors unions, all these different unions are going to have to come together at some point in time and come up with a plan. So, and that's going to make the insurance companies happy
Hmm.
because without them, you know, without their policies in place, then I don't know how we're going to be able to get going. And me personally, I never film without
Hmm.
insurance. I always have insurance. That's one of the biggest reasons why I am not doing anything is because I know my insurance company that I use. I've talked to them a couple of times already, and they're saying, nope, it's not going to happen. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the best choice right now. And I mean, you said it before. How important is the project,
Yeah.
compared to other people's safety and,
Yeah. That's what
the
you
people
have to weigh
connected to
in.
those
I
people.
mean,
So,
again, we are all artists. You know, I'm a director. Yes. Do I love directing? Of course I do. Do I love acting? Yeah, I love acting. It's a lot of fun. We are all artists in some way, shape, or form. From the
mhm.
cast, the crew, everybody who sets foot on a set is an artist. And we all want to express our art in some way, shape, or form. But you got to be able to do it safely. You got to give your people some reassurance that when they go home, they're not going to contaminate anybody. They're not going to get sick. You know, again, there are people who can have it and not get sick, but they can be carriers. So
Hmm.
until we, the Central Valley, come up with some way of assuring our people that their safety comes first, I don't think there's a project out there that is important enough to get started. Yeah.
Hmm. I agree. Absolutely. Well,
No
Ernest,
problem.
thank you so much for coming on the podcast today to share all of this. Please tell everybody where
Okay.
we could find you, where we
Well,
could watch your
let's see.
films,
I
all of
have
these.
currently 4 projects on Amazon Prime. I have New York State of Mind. I have my series Confessions. I have Catch the 57, which is a short film that stars Ryan Ochoa. I have Joaquin.
Hmm.
Was that?
From iCarly. Yeah.
Yeah,
What was
yeah.
that one?
He's great.
I
Oh, he's a
remember
great
him from
guy.
iCarly.
He's a great
Yeah.
guy. We did a lot of talking when we were on set and everything. He was awesome to direct and everything. And like I said, we have Joaquin is King. And my feature that I've been working on for quite a few years is finally going to be coming out on Amazon, which is Grim Weaver. So that it's been submitted and it's been in review for the last month. I keep calling them, telling them, hey, when are you going to put it on? But from what they're saying, it looks more like it's going to be the first week of June that it will finally come out. I've been working with Amazon since February to try to get this out, but it's now looking like it's going to be the first week of June. So that is a 2-hour film, 2-hour horror film, and I'm really looking forward for that to come out and everything. So beyond that, look for Confessions Season 2. That is something that we're working on. So it's going to be 10 episodes at 10 minutes an episode. And we're really excited about that because we're bringing back my cast that was in it, plus a lot of new people that are going to be involved in it. We're going to be actually putting it out on LA Casting and a couple of the different acting websites to promote people from LA in different areas to come up and be involved in it. So yeah, so that is that's what's going on right now. All my other projects are basically on hold, and just like everybody else's. And so my thing is this for everyone out there that listens to your podcast and everything. Continue to be creative, continue to express yourself and everything. Just find different ways of doing it right now until it's safe to be able to get out there and start filming. You know, practice at home, practice in your garage. You know, just keep practicing. Eventually, we're going to be back out there. Eventually, we're going to be back to filming again.
Exactly. Just stay productive. Keep flexing that muscle. You know, like you said, you'll be ready to go as soon as it comes back.
No problem. I appreciate it.
Well, Ernest, thank you again so much.
I'm extremely happy that you know you've been following your dream and everything. Like I said, I've been following you from when you were out here in the Central Valley.
Yeah.
When you and I hooked up on a couple of different things, you know, and then I followed you, you know, when you went to, you know, school and stuff like that, you know, and your different projects that you have going on, man. You know, you're doing fantastic. I'm really proud of everything that you've accomplished.
Thank you. Thank you, man. And you know, I haven't forgotten about the Central Valley. I do want to go back and make films there.
We'll definitely
hook
up and do something
with artists like you.
Either
absolutely.
Out here, or I may come down. I go down to LA a lot, so I may come down there for something too. So we'll definitely hook up.
Well, hopefully after.
Oh yeah, definitely.
After all of this, we'll grab coffee when it's safe.
All right,
awesome.
Thank you.
All
Take
right,
it easy,
Ernest. Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your day.